friends of Macmillan Library. Welcome to Yoga with Noelle Joy. For today's practice, you will need either a pillow or a yoga block, and then either a yoga strap or a belt. A towel could also work in this case. And remember that yoga doesn't require anything fancy, so if you don't own a yoga mat, that's okay. You can just spread a towel on the floor, maybe two, because we're doing some lunges today. So if you have tender knees, you might want to double things up. You can also just do it on the carpet if you have carpeted living room floor. But we are going to go ahead and get started in child's pose. So knees to the outer edges of the mat, big toes touching. Extend your arms forward and melt your forehead into your mat. So from here, I want you to focus on what we call pranayama in yoga. Prana is Sanskrit for life. So obviously when you're breathing, you are bringing life into your body. In yoga, you want your inhales and exhales to be long, slow, and deep. Preferably mouth closed to warm up the body, at least in the beginning. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. This is actually the most relaxing part of yoga. It's not the stretching necessarily, it is the breathing that calms down the nervous system. So, with that breathing in mind, go back to child's pose if you came out of it at all because I distracted you. Allow the body to soften. And tune into your jaw. So sometimes when we're trying to get rid of tension in the body, we just move it instead of release it. And a lot of the times we move it to our jaw, and by that I mean we're clenching our teeth. So try to soften that. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, how does she know I'm clenching my jaw? It's because I do it all the time. Now this pose is something you can come back to the entire practice. If you don't like one of the poses we're in, if you feel like you need a break, heck, you can stay here for the full 30 to 40 minutes if you want. If you're on your mat and you're breathing, you're practicing yoga. All right, from here, inhale up to tabletop position. Hands are shoulder width apart. When your hands are on your mat, I want your fingers to be spread and I want you to root down in your inner triad, which is your pointer and thumb area here. So it's protecting our wrist. And then from here, we're going to warm up the spine and the side body. So from here, we're going to exhale, gaze over that left shoulder, raise that left leg up off the mat, inhale back to center, exhale opposite side. Inhale center back to the original. Inhale center right side. One more, inhale, exhale left side. Inhale, center, exhale, right side. All right, come back to neutral spine. Curl the toes, lift the hips, come to your first downward facing dog. Knees can be deeply bent here since it's the first one of the practice. If you want, you can practice pedaling out the feet, warming up those calf muscles, hamstrings. Remember, always make sure you're breathing. All right, from here, we're going to inhale the right foot between the hands, drop the left knee to the mat, toes point back. So again, if you're like, this does not feel great on my knee, you can fold your mat over to double it, put a towel under there, whatever. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. All right, once you're here, I want you to inhale that right arm up and exhale back to the earth. Curl the back toes, lift the hips, step back to downward facing dog. Left foot steps between the hands. Right knee drops, toes point back. Inhale that left arm up. And exhale it to the mat. Curling those back toes and stepping back to downward facing dog. Spread the fingers, root down in the inner triad. And then from here, inhale that right foot forward. Don't drop the knee this time. You're going to extend that right arm up in the air. Exhale as you lower it. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps forward. Take that left arm up towards the sky. And exhale, left hand meets the earth. Step it back to downward facing dog. All right, from here, drop to the knees. And I want you to go ahead and sink back into a child's pose. All right, inhale up. So we're going to come into Virasana, or a cobbler's pose. A lot of us are going to want our strap and our yoga block or pillow. So with Virasana, basically we're just sinking our butt between our feet. But this can be a little bit tough on the knees, especially if you have tight quadriceps, which I do. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pillow underneath. And if you're like, you know what, that still doesn't feel good, you can just stay up on your knees here. Because believe it or not, you are still getting a little bit of a stretch in this position, and you're still going to be able to do the upper body opening that we're going to work on. So, sink into this pose. The beautiful thing about Virasana is it stretches our ankles and our feet as well. A lot of times we don't pay attention to our ankle mobility, and it can actually work its way up through our lower leg, and then right here in our knee area, if you're like, yeah, that gets a little tight, sometimes it's too tight of ankles. So breathe here, and we're gonna work on our shoulders. So go ahead, fold your hands, inhale, arms up, palms facing the ceiling. Try not to flare your ribs here. Knit them in a little bit. Deep inhales, deep exhales. And exhale, release. Now opposite finger forward. If you are right-handed, if you're dominant in that side, chances are your right finger was forward, so bring your left index finger forward now. Inhale, palms up to the sky. I don't know about you, my shoulders are pretty tight. Exhale, go ahead and release. All right, from here, grab your belt, your strap, or your towel, whatever you're using. Fanciness is not required. I want you to do a wide grip. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, take them just a tiny bit behind you, like an inch or two. So you should be feeling this in the chest area. I'm actually feeling it in my biceps as well. And one more little trick to calm the mind is that when you're in a pose that we're holding, find what we call in yoga a drishti point. So it's just one focal point. So when you steady your gaze, it can steady the mind as well. All right, exhale, lean to the left side a tiny bit. Inhale to center. Exhale to right side. Inhale to center, exhale, lower this. All right, from here, eagle's arms. So I want you to cross the right arm over the left, bend the elbows, palms are facing each other if you have the mobility, and you're just gonna take your elbows up to like where your chin would be. Exhale, release the side. We're going to do opposite arm on top. So left arm on top, bend the elbows, raise them up. You might have one side that is tighter than the other. That's okay. Typically, we do have a dominant side. All right, exhale and release. Now, last one. You're going to take your arm up and behind you, and then you're going to grab the bottom of the strap with the opposite hand like this. Now, if you can touch hands, that's totally fine. You can interlace fingers here. I cannot do that right now, so I'm going to use the strap. This is a great tricep stretch. Also working that left shoulder. All right, go ahead, release that left hand. And then we're going to switch sides. So left arm up and over. Right arm comes behind. And remember that you don't need to push it to the point where you're like shaking. Back when I used to teach in a studio, remember those days when we could like go in public and do things as a group? Sometimes people would be pushing themselves so hard it looked like they were grabbing an electrical fence. They were just shaking and they weren't breathing. So that's not yoga. Yoga is you find your edge. Your edge means you're still able to maintain your breath and the integrity of the pose, but you are slightly uncomfortable. All right, go ahead, release here. All right, your upper body should be feeling nice and juicy. Okay, go ahead, put your pillow to the side, and from here, we're gonna come back to a tabletop position. Curl the toes, lift the hips, come to a super short downward facing dog so that we can just step our right foot forward, drop that left knee. So from here, we're gonna come to half Hanuman. And I do want you to have your pillow or your block close. Half Hanuman means half splits. If you're like, this lady's gonna hear me do half splits, yes I am, but not the full ones today, which is cool because we do full splits in yoga sometimes. So from here, I want you to come back slightly, root your heel into the mat, toes point up to the sky, and you're just gonna breathe here a little bit. You're gonna fold forward slightly. Inhale as you come back up into that lunge. And exhale as you take it back to your half Hanuman. Inhale back up to the lunge. Exhale, take it back, half Hanuman. And then from here, go ahead, grab your pillow or your block. Stick it underneath your right sits bone. And come back. So it's like we're in a half Virasana here. And I want you to exhale as you take it forward slightly. I don't want you to fold all the way forward here. So you should be feeling a nice release in that right hamstring. And then from here, rock over to the left side, remove your pillow, and you're gonna come into a little bit of a Z sit is what we call it. So this leg is gonna come out slightly. Bottom of your right foot is gonna come to the top of your left thigh. So just settle in here. And then we're gonna do a few gentle twists. So inhale. Exhale, left hand comes to the right knee, right hand comes behind you. So the key with twists is you twist in the thoracic part of the spine. Thoracic is the middle part of the spine. But you also want to keep that upper chest and body open. By that I mean you don't want to twist by folding this way. This remains open, twist in the thoracic. If you find that you are needing to round or hunch, then don't twist as deeply. All right, exhale as we do a counter twist. So right hand comes to the left knee, gaze over that left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Now from here, I want you to take that left leg, cross it over the right. If you're like, this doesn't feel too juicy, you can always put the pillow back underneath your sits bone. So hug that right knee into your chest. For some of us, we're gonna stay here. If you wanna take it slightly deeper, you're gonna inhale that left arm up and exhale it behind you for a deeper twist. So you should be feeling a nice release through that left hip area, maybe your IT band a little bit. Nice glute reliever. Check in with your jaw, make sure you're not clenching your teeth. Inhale back to center. Exhale, counter twist. Right hand behind you, left hand comes to the left ankle. Inhale to center. Come to tabletop position. Make sure you have the integrity of the hands. Curl the toes, lift the hips, come back to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Shavasana. All right, inhale, left foot steps forward, right knee drops, half Hanuman. Exhale as you take it back. Inhale, you come back up. Exhale, back. If you're like, hey, I can do full splits, go for it. Inhale up. Exhale, take it back. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, take it back. Find your blocker pillow and come to half Virasana. All right. Exhale as you fold forward ever so slightly. And if this isn't feeling good for you at all, if you're like, my knee does not do that, that is okay. You can do this. Or you can stack yourself up higher. All right, slowly fold forward. All right, inhale as you walk up, ditch your pillow, and we're gonna come to our Z twist. So, bottom of that left foot on the top of the right thigh, right foot comes out slightly. We're gonna start with the twist. So, left hand on the right knee, right hand behind you. Exhale, opposite direction, counter twist. So these seated twists are actually really great to do, like if you're watching TV or something. Because not everyone has the time to do a 30-40 minute yoga practice every day. But I do think we have time to do a few stretches that really resonate with where our body needs to release. All right, inhale back to center. We're gonna go ahead, cross the knee over, hug it in tight, inhale, arm up, exhale, twist. Exhale, counter twist. All right, go ahead, come back to center. Find your way back to tabletop. Move your pillow or block forward slightly. We are going to attempt a half pigeon. If pigeon is not in your practice because your knees and hips will not allow it, I will show you a reclining pigeon after I show the class how to do pigeon first. So you are going to come to downward facing dog. Have your pillow nice and handy. Inhale, extend that right leg up in the air, and exhale, bring it forward. So your knee is lined up with that front right corner of the mat, and you're just gonna slide your pillow underneath your hip. If you have super flexible hips, you don't need the pillow. All right, from here, you're gonna exhale forward slightly, and breathe, allowing the head and neck to release. stay in that pose. For those of you that regular pigeon is not in your practice, you can do recline pigeon. So basically that's figure 8. Come on your back, you flex the right foot, cross the ankle just above the knee, and you hug the knees into your chest. You are still stretching the IT band, the glute, releasing the lower back. All the benefits are still there. Okay, come back in the regular pigeon. And then we're going to switch to the opposite side. So, curl the toes, lift the hips, step back to downward facing dog. Grab your pillow, take it to the opposite side. Inhale as you extend that left leg up in the air, and exhale as you bring it forward. Again, knee is lined up with that left corner of the mat. For some of us, this is as low as our pigeon will go. For others, we can maybe sink down to our elbows. For those of you that are in recline pigeon on your back, you can actually stay on your back. For those of us that are in our other pigeon, we're going to take our hands to the mat, curl our toes, lift our hips, come back to downward facing dog, move our pillow to the side, and then come to your knees and transition onto your back. So we're still going to need our pillow for this next pose. We're going to do bridge with a blocker pillow between our knees. So I want you to go ahead, squeeze the pillow, and lift your hips up off the mat. So with every exhale, really pull that belly button in towards the spine. Root down into your heels. Breath is nice and steady. All right, slowly lower down here. We're going to do 3 rounds of those. So just going to take a few moments to rest. All right, back to it. Inhale, lift the hips up like there's a crane, pulling them up. Squeezing that pillow, strengthening our inner thighs. Exhale, slowly release back to the mat. Maybe windshield wiper your knees a little bit, side to side. All right, come back to center. We'll prepare for the third one. Inhale, lift up off the mat. This is really good for the low back. And exhale, release. Now you can set your pillow aside. We are done with it, but go ahead and grab your strap or belt. All right, from here I want you to extend that left leg onto the mat and then take the belt in the arch of the right leg. We're gonna extend up towards the sky. All right, from here, grab the strap with just your right hand. Extend that left arm out, and I want you to bring that right leg over to the side. How low you can go depends on your flexibility. But make sure this left hip is staying rooted to the mat. I don't want it to roll over to the side. Inhale that right leg up. Take the strap in the left hand, extend that right arm out, and then I want you to take this over only a few inches. So this is really going to release that hip area. Sometimes the further we go, the less the stretch is in our hip, and we want it in our hip right now. Inhale back to center. Go ahead, bring that left leg up, extend the right leg to the mat. We're going to do this series on the opposite side. Maybe close your eyes here. Deep inhales and exhales, jaw relaxed, right? Keeping ourselves honest. And then from here, grab the strap with the left hand. Bring that leg over to the left, making sure that right side body does not rise up off the mat. Inhale back to center. Grab it with the right hand, take it over just a few inches. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Remembering that is the backbone of the practice, so it doesn't matter how flexible you are. If you are breathing on your mat, you are an experienced yogi. Inhale back to center. All right, you can go ahead and get rid of the belt. And I want you to cross your right knee over your left, so your knees are stacked. And then from here, I want you to pull them up towards your chest. How high? Depends on how flexible you are. So for some of you, you might be like, this is plenty for me. I can feel this in all the areas I need to feel it in. For some of you, you might come to your toe. For others, you might lift up a little, lower, lift. Remember that it can take years to get flexible. I know that because it took me like 2 or 3 years to be able to fully get into some yoga poses. And that's even after I went through yoga training. Exhale, release the side. Cross that left knee over the right. Inhale as you pull it up towards the chest. Breathing deep here. So this pose is actually pretty good at releasing sciatica pain. All right, exhale, slowly release here. All right, now take the bottoms of your feet together, knees butterfly open. I want you to take one hand to your chest, one hand to your stomach, and I do want you to close your eyes, relax your jaw, and breathe here. Now we're going to move into Shavasana, our final pose of the class. It's called corpse pose. So extend the legs, arms at your side. We're only going to stay here for probably 30 seconds, but if you have the time, I encourage you to stay 5-10 minutes. For those of you who are able, go ahead, stay longer. For the rest of us, we're going to extend our arms overhead, roll to whatever side feels comfortable. And then put yourself up to a simple cross-legged position. Hands come to heart center. Close your eyes one more time. Namaste. All right, I look forward to seeing you again, friends.